Hey there and welcome back. This is Felix from Goldammer Vintage Watches. In today's video, I would like to present you 4 personal highlights of the upcoming drops. Watches that are definitely worth a second and also a third look. An Omega Constellation, a Longines Conquest, an Art Deco Omega and a diamond set Vacheron Constantin. Each watch in itself has a very special and unique appeal to me. From the Art Deco atmosphere of the 1930s to the diamond set classic chic of the late 60s. So today you will learn what makes these 4 pieces so special to me. From unusual design aspects to the feel on the wrist to the movement types. So enjoy the intro before we get into the details of each watch. So let's start in today's video with one of the rarest Omega vintage watches, the Omega Art Deco Scarab from the 1930s. We all know Omega's icons like the Speedmaster, Seamaster, Railmaster and Co. However, their vintage production also includes a wide-ranging array of simple and complicated watches, including time-only watches that are not only technically innovative, but aesthetically sensational. Omega's 1930s and 40s scarab-shaped wristwatches with their bold and dramatic claw-shaped lugs were a wonderful Art Deco design inspired by the antique and symbolic Egyptian scarab. Long used in art and design, the scarab was a visual representation of the sun god Ra and a symbol of rebirth and regeneration. Our oversized piece today measures 35.5 mm, which was huge for the 1930s and is a rarity in itself. But with a scarab-to-scarab distance of an incredible 50 mm, this piece looks like a classic giant on the wrist. Furthermore, with a thickness of 10 mm, it wears incredibly well and slips under any tight-fitting shirt with ease. Having a soft spot for black dials and military-looking vintage watches, this is honestly one of the nicest Omega scarabs I've ever seen. The special original black dial stands out with its large luminous Arabic numerals and hands, as well as the recessed small seconds at 6. The movement is Omega's high-quality caliber 26.5 SOB. This caliber was first introduced in 1926 and is considered a caliber with incredible success. After 1949, the movement was renumbered as caliber 100. The Scarab models in smaller versions around 30 mm and not so good condition are priced around €1,000. The larger models like our today's piece in top condition are of course a little bit more expensive due to their rarity, and pieces are priced between 3,000 to 5,000 euros. Basically, I can say that those who are looking for something unusual and rare in terms of Omega will certainly enjoy a Scarab wristwatch. So enough about the Scarab, let's move on to timeless simplicity. This vintage Vacheron Constantin reference 6571 from the 1960s is a true heirloom piece that adds a touch of sophistication to any occasion. As you can clearly see from this diamond set piece, the oldest continuously operating watch manufacturer in the world had a lot to offer in terms of vintage dress watches. Actually, we are not big fans of diamond hour markers, but exceptions prove the rule. When I hold this extremely rare vintage watch in my hands, I could spend hours examining every detail. Because as always, the beauty of dress watches is in the details. And this piece embodies every DNA that is important to us in vintage watches. The 32 mm wide and 36 mm long 18-karat gold case encloses a silver vertical brushed dial, decorated with 8 small diamonds and 4 white gold arrowhead markers. Furthermore, it's adorned by small seconds at 6 o'clock and plain pin hands complete this total work of art. With a thickness of only 6.5 mm, it has a very flat profile and hugs the wrist like a single unit thanks to the downturn-shaped lugs. In addition, the 32 mm wide case has a very thin bezel, which in turn makes the dial appear much larger than it actually is. Under the hood beats the Vacheron caliber K1000/1 movement, which was produced in collaboration with Jaeger-LeCoultre and was based on GLC's caliber 880. It is beautiful, clean, incredibly accurate, and wonderfully loud when wound. And I delight in such a well-built mechanism every time. If you are like us, rather no fans of diamond set dials, but also not quite averse to the third and extra bling, this Vacheron with its simplicity and classic appeal could be your ticket. Let's move on to the second Omega of today's unveilings. An Omega Constellation reference 168005/6 from 1966. And not just any, but one that shows you the power and magic of patina. We all know that patina divides tastes into two groups. Some love patina because it adds a certain charm and uniqueness to a watch. For others, it is simply a damage and they prefer watches that look as if they were hatched up from an egg. With today's Connie, I'm trying to change the minds of the people in the second group. So let me know later if it worked. The Constellation launched in 1952, and this making it one of the oldest of Omega's watch collections, older than the famous Speedmaster by 5 years. This beautiful piece measures 34.5 mm without crown, 43 mm from lug to lug, and a thickness of 10 mm. Furthermore, it has an original plexi crystal, which can be seen by a tiny Omega logo in the center. Piping Constellation with a black dial are a rarity in themselves. But on this example, you can once again clearly see the power of patina. Originally, this piece was delivered with a deep black face to the first owner. But over the decades and the exposure to sunlight, among other things, something very special happened here. If you play with the dial in the light, you can see that the original smooth surface has been broken up and a gray, rather rough grain runs through the dial, which gives the dial a kind of organic structure. The coloring even reminds me of a dark kind of granite rock. From far away it looks rather grayish, but the closer you get, the better you can see how this surface structure dances in the incoming light. Just incredibly beautiful. On the back is an engraving to read, Riccardo Rossi, UER 1958 to 1965. Unfortunately, I could not find anything specific about it in my research, but it could have been a Swiss lawyer who worked until 1965 at an Italian broadcasting company. If we open the case back, we can spot an Omega caliber 561, an automatic chronometer with a power reserve of approximately 50 hours. A stunning detail is a copper-plated bronze material which Omega used for this movement. It gives the whole watch so much more class, even if you can't see this detail while you're wearing the Connie. These movements are highly respected for being robust, very accurate and highly reliable. So this watch is perfect for everyday use. The automatic winding mechanism is very efficient, and if you wear it daily, this watch will never need winding. As the last watch in today's bunch, I would like to present you a Longines Conquest with a reference 9045/8 from 1966, which was developed to be a competition for the Omega Constellation. The Conquest heralded a new era for the company. It was the first step in a new development and marketing strategy with a named line of watches. All previous models did not feature special names on the dials. Many more were to follow, but the Conquest was the beginning. Our reference today is a solid rosé gold model from Longines, top of the range Conquest series, launched in 1954. With its newly developed automatic movement, luxurious and powerful appearance and ornate decoration on the screw back, it seems to make a more aggressive statement than previous Longines models. Given these elements, it's not difficult to imagine that the watch was conceived as a counterpart to Omega's Constellation, launched 2 years earlier. This specific reference was introduced as an high-end model within the Conquest range, with a 13 mm thick case and the luxury of solid 18-karat rosé gold. Only the company logo, model name and Swiss-made notation are printed on the dial. The rest of the watch is without color and designed with a three-dimensional, yes you could almost say like a turntable in rosé gold modeling. The back of the watch is decorated with an enameled finish that shows exceptional attention to detail in the modeling, even places that are not visible. The case diameter is 34 mm with a 40 mm lug-to-lug distance. which was a standard size for the time, but still gives a voluminous feel on the wrist due to its design and can be worn without stomach ache by people used to modern watches. The automatic wine manufacturer grade movement, Longines caliber 291 with sweep seconds, runs strong and is well known by collectors for its accuracy. It winds and sets very smooth and the movement is running strong. You can find the first generation Conquest with patience from anywhere from $500 up to $1,000 for a steel or gold plate version depending on condition. Solid gold case versions like our today's piece go for higher prices, of course. So that's all for today. I'd be interested to know which watch you like best. Personally, I'm waffling between the Vacheron and the Constellation. But if you put a gun on my chest, I'd probably rather choose the Constellation with the beautiful Patina. So have a great day and hope to see you in our next video.